Good afternoon. It is December the 3rd. Head Injury Jane here. Something that I wanted to come on real quick and speak to you about, anyone who's watching. These glasses will get a little crooked. You'll just have to forgive me. They drive me a little crazy. I need to get them fixed to my face. In either case, I want to come on and talk about a part of my brain injury that I may or may not have tapped into. I don't exactly remember. But I know that this has been affecting me from the beginning. I am a writer. I've been writing my whole life. And since the head injury, of course, immediately following the head injury, I couldn't even speak. I had garbled speak immediately following the head injury. And then after the immediate medical emergency, I presume in the first 24 hours, but I was actually typing and working literally hours after my head injury. And I was doing it to what I thought was to force connections to make my mind. I was okay. I know I spoke of this, but this was I pushed my brain because I was concerned that if I stopped and I didn't push my brain, exercise it, treat it therapeutically immediately, that I would stay at that level of disruption. The brain, that I would just stay at that level. And you see me go down. I mean, when I initially hit my head, I was in so much trouble. But immediately following, I was trying to do some writing, and I couldn't even write sentences. Now, it took me a long time to be able to write a couple sentences. Because I was using, like, my brain was doing wrong words and I couldn't spell. I still have difficulty spelling. Not only do I have difficulty spelling, but my writing has been pretty seriously compromised. I literally have to edit every sentence I write now. For the most part, it is rare that I don't have to edit everything that I'm writing, and I've never been like that. My brain is also doing this thing where I don't want to use a certain word, but my brain sounds it or sees it differently, and I'll actually spell another word in the place of the word that belongs. And I'm doing this a lot. I catch myself. Matter of fact, sometimes some of my stuff, it gets published, and I go back and look at it. I'm like, even when I edit, so I can write and edit and edit and edit and still have mistakes. The brain, it's not just a new kind of, you don't just have memory loss and high frequency hearing that never ends. You don't just have, I have twitching now. My twitching is becoming prevalent. I mean, it's subtle. It'll just be these little, like, I'll be typing sometimes and one hand jumps, or it'll push down and I'll hit extra keys, and I'm like, so the twitching has stayed. The twitching is here, like all the other Fallout stuff. But the writing, it kind of drives me crazy because I want to, I used to be able to type really fast, really efficiently, with very few mistakes, if any. And now, literally, each sentence, I have to police each sentence as I go. And then there are still mistakes in those sentences. And I'm working on a couple books, but it's very challenging because not only is the short-term memory and long-term memory compromised, but the writing skills are compromised. The brain has changed. The injured brain has, literally every aspect of my life has been changed because of the injured brain. And it's astonishing. Excuse me. It's astonishing in many ways. But the writing thing, and how it's so strange to me that my brain wants to put words in that it's not even close. The word is like so misplaced, but my brain will just chunk it right down in there. It'll just chunk it right in there, like, hey, here's the word you're looking for. It has nothing to do with the word that I'm looking for. I don't know how long that will go on. I know that's been happening since the beginning. So, like, the high frequency ear ringing, the hearing loss, the memory, the short-term memory, that's, it's so weird. Like what it is, my short-term memory is okay as long as I'm right in front of whatever it is that I'm doing. But if I get up and walk away from whatever it is that I'm doing, I'll forget. So I can have a conversation and remember things that we spoke about 2 minutes ago, right? So certain aspects of the short-term memory are there. It's not an absolution of all short-term memories are lost, but it's astonishing the amount of short-term memory that is gone, that has been compromised completely. I mean, it, like I sometimes still, I think I'm getting past being upset about the idea that I might lose memories about Beverly and Chase that I will never be able to recover because there's no one around me to help me recover them. And to me, that's like daunting in some ways, but I've accepted it in some ways too. I've really worked hard and then the head injury. I mean, I worked hard to heal my soul of the Beverly and Chase loss and having no family. But then it's like, it's so strange. It's just strange. The memory stuff is just very bizarre. And so, I don't know all what I've lost, but the language thing is, it's not that it's, yeah, I try to be patient with myself, but sometimes it gets aggravating. And I haven't started writing. I mean, I've been doing some writing, but a couple of my projects are so major that I'm reading them, I'm going over them, I'm putting them together, I'm working on them. But a part of me, wonders if I'll ever be able to complete them successfully, point blank. So I guess that's what I came on to talk about real quick, is how the brain, just keeps swapping words almost in every sentence, or I won't see errors. Like I'll type a sentence and it almost makes no sense sometimes. And I have to really re-edit. And I think sometimes I get exhausted from doing that. I want to give up, I just want to stop, but I don't. That's the neuroplasticity. I actually made a coconut pie last night. I haven't been baking and cooking as much since the head injury because I've left the stove on before, and I've had failures that I haven't even discussed in the kitchen. But last night when I was doing my coconut pie, I had to get help. I wasn't able to do it actually. I mean, I did do it all on my own, all the cooking, all of it, but I definitely felt, I didn't even pull all of my ingredients out of the pantry before I even started, which is like rule number one with baking and cooking. So it was odd when I found myself in the middle of the project and I'm still running back to the pantry and I'm like, why didn't I pull this stuff out before and even have it measured out? It's not a big deal. You just get everything ready and set everything, and then put everything back up. I didn't do that at all. Like my processes have changed and may not be near as efficient because of the head injury. So the pie itself, super delicious. I completed it. The help thing was like I had Anthony stirring the coconut cream part, as it thickened on the stove. I was like, okay, you need to please sit here and do this while I get this part ready. And so I found myself, though I did do it. I mean, it's not like he cooked it. He didn't do, but I did require, like I got in a panic and I probably didn't have to have his help. And he was very kind and said, I think you could have done it without me. And surely that I could have. But I think it showed me that I'm still in that, well, where it changes you. And I'm like, I don't know. But I guess we'll just see. I didn't want to be this long. I just wanted to come on and talk about, I did bake a delicious coconut cream pie last night. Stretching the neuroplasticity. But again, I was running, and I think Anthony kept hearing me say, man, and he's like, hey, are you okay? And I was like, no, I'm fine. But I just found myself running and running back and forth. And then I didn't pull the stuff out of the pantry. It just kind of cracks me up. But the writing thing, it bothers me as well. See, when you have the head injury, it just changes so many little things in your life that I think it can be overwhelming. I think there are days I am overwhelmed by it. Like I literally today, I just didn't want to do anything. I was like, maybe I should just stay in bed all day. But I was like, no, get up and, because I do feel a little overwhelmed by it when I'm trying to write. It's frustrating to see so many mistakes in something so simple as like 4 sentences. And there's like 30 mistakes in 4 sentences. And then even when I try to edit and correct, I'll still like edit and correct incorrectly. So, I'm working on it, but I'm working on it still. I'm still working the brain. It is a long haul. It is a life-changing injury. And, I'm just sharing my trip with you. I'm sharing my head injury ride. There you go. So I hope that you guys are doing great and take great care of your heads.